Hey Fit Vegans in the making, I hope you're doing great. Florian here, and today I'm gonna show you one thing that very few people understand. And frankly, if you just master this one thing, life will be good. And if you ignore this one thing, life will be bad. And that one thing is compound interest. Albert Einstein said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. But the thing is, we think the compound interest, if you're proficient when it comes to finances, we think that it only applies to finances. We know that if we invest $10,000, for example, this year, the next year, if it goes good, we have like $11,000. But like over years, it has a curve like this. That's compound interest, and you get interest on your already interested stock. Okay, that's a very, very simple explanation of it, okay? Which essentially means that it's not a line like this, it's more like an exponential line over time. But what few people understand, sorry, is that we have a compound interest in everything we do. For example, if you eat a lot of sugar, if you eat a lot of meat, if you eat a lot of dairy, then you don't see the results just the next day after, but you see the results over time. So when you're 50, when you're 60, you have heart disease, for example. You realize that suddenly you have diabetes. And these are the compound interests, not of the choices that you made last week, but that you made when you were 20, 50, 30, 40, okay? So over time, you really have a compound interest when it comes to your negative behavior, but you also have a compound interest when it comes to your positive behavior. For example, the thing that I have right now, I can live wherever I want, I can work remotely, is not the decision or like the choices that I made in the last month. It's the choices that I made for the last like 4 or 5 years. And it's about reading a lot, it's learning a lot, it's working hard, you know? So this is the compound interest that I get over time. When it comes to your fitness, you have to realize that this is the same thing holds true. The body that I have at this moment in time was not built in the last week, was not built in the last month, even was not built in the last year. It was refined certainly in that time, but it wasn't put in marble in that time. It was created in the last 4 or 5 years, not nearly 7 years. 7 years of training in the gym and really taking this stuff seriously. So you need to understand that any positive change takes time. And really the hardest part of a positive change is this part right here. And why is it the hardest? Because you're working your ass off and you're not seeing the results. And what this means, like your friends that are not doing anything at all, they, for example, they have the same results as you, even if you work a lot. So this is the hardest part of any positive change. And this is frankly when most people throw in the towel. But you have to understand the basics of compound interest right here. That over time, it's not a straight line. It's a curve, it's an exponential. And over time you look in the mirror and you just see an amazing body and you ask yourself, how did this come from? And it came from compound interest. You look around and you really live the life that you want to live. You can work remotely, for example, or you have even if you have you have a great relationship and you don't know why, and you just realize it's not because of this one thing that you did last week. It's because of the work that you put in over months and years that really made you have that great life that you want. So this is just a small reminder for you, and if you ignore this, life will be bad, and if you just do this, life will be absolutely great. So cultivate great habits right now. And do something each and every day to make your future better. Really fall in love with this concept of compound interest. And don't fall in love with instant gratification, watching TV, and all this other stuff that will not benefit you in the long term and will destroy your compound interest or put your compound interest in favor of bad stuff like heart disease, like losing your job, for example. It's way better if you take advantage of the compound interest and really cultivate great habits early on, and really cultivate great habits like your life depends on it, because frankly it does. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.